My name is Michele. I'm from New York City, and I'm 43 years old. I was diagnosed exactly 4 years ago this week. I was diagnosed at age 39. If I were to describe myself, I would say I'm outgoing, compassionate, and resilient. I love hanging out with my friends and my family, just keeping it low key. I love nature. I love going to the beach and going on hikes and just going out with friends. I have 2 businesses. I am a vision architect and coach. I help female entrepreneurs create their visions with a step-by-step strategy to achieve lifestyle freedom. I also am the director of innovation at a company called Altrum Group, and our mission is to celebrate and inspire. So I found out I had endometrial cancer because I was trying to get pregnant. And when I went to get the testing to see if I could conceive, I ended up getting a really bad infection. And I ended up having to have both of my tubes out and then went through IVF. And after I finished IVF, they found polyps in my uterus. And the doctor said, oh, we need to remove these to implant the embryos. And, it's usually nothing. We're just going to take it out. And about a week later, he called me and let me know I had cancer. I remember I was in my office and I remember picking up the phone and hearing his voice saying you have cancer. And I just felt really numb. It felt like just a sea of denial and disbelief. And, at first I felt, nothing. And then I felt really everything. And, I felt angry. I felt confused. I felt really sad and a lot of grief. I remember thinking, how am I going to get out of here? Because my office was filled with people and, hearing news like that and having a full office and just like kind of trying to process everything. So I remember just sneaking out and going home. It's not normal usually to hear news like that on the phone, but that's how I heard it. It feels like you're in a house and there's a hurricane outside and you hear the wind whipping around the house and, the window's broken and you're scared because you don't know what's going to happen to your house. And, you're just waiting for a tree to just crash through your roof at any moment. And even though you feel like you're safe inside, you feel really nervous and scared and, worried that you're not going to make it. I have experienced different types of symptoms throughout my lifetime, including major pain, irregular bleeding, all sorts of different symptoms. And time and time again, when I would bring them up, it was just dismissed as this is nothing, this is normal, you're just irregular. I'm really grateful that I had to, go through what I did and I went through IVF, because if I hadn't gone through that, they wouldn't have found this until it was, I believe, too late. And, I feel really grateful that it was found because my symptoms were always dismissed. So what I've learned through this experience is that you always have to be your own advocate for your health. It's super important. I think that especially as women, a lot of times we're there trying to please everyone else. And, if someone tells you something, you kind of just yes them. And what I would say, what's changed for me, and what I would say is super important is when you feel something in your gut, when you feel like something's not right, when you have an intuition, to really be your own advocate and to really push forward and get a second opinion. And for me, that's really changed. When I was first diagnosed, I confided in my family. I feel so grateful and blessed that I have a great family that's very supportive and understanding and caring. I was hesitant to let a lot of people know in the beginning because, I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me. I didn't really want to lean on a lot of people. I wasn't sure how they were going to react. And there's a couple things, when I first started telling my friends, what I noticed is that, some of them were there to support me. And what I will say is, I think that a lot of people don't know what to say to you when you're going through this. It's similar to like if someone dies. And so they say nothing. And what happens a lot of the time, and what happened for me, is a lot of my close friends ended up not reaching out because they didn't know what to say. And it makes you really feel very alone in it because you don't want to reach out and lean on someone, especially if you're afraid. It's like you're all tiptoeing on eggshells. So that was really hard. Also, when I was diagnosed, I was leading a global team of almost over 60 artists. And there was a lot of people depending on me, and I needed to really show up as very strong. And, I didn't want people to think I was weak or lazy or incapable. And so I just showed up as though nothing was happening for me. And, slowly I told people, in my team who were on the same level as me because I really needed the support. But I didn't let a lot of people in because I felt like I couldn't. I would never say that I'm alone on my journey. I'm blessed with so many great people in my life, great family, great friends, great coworkers. I felt alone though a lot of the time because when you're going through this, it's such a unique experience. It's hard for people to know what to say, and it's really hard for them to connect with you and in a lot of ways. And what I ended up doing is I found some support groups that were really helpful for me and connected to other women going through other gynecological cancers. It was really incredible to hear different people's stories, and it makes you really feel like you're not as alone. My lifestyle has changed since the diagnosis. I became an active meditator. It really shifted my perspective. And I also spent a lot of time on personal growth, working out my feelings, including forgiveness, which is something that is important. I also have drastically changed my career. I have opened my own business. I help other women to create a life and business they love, and that really fills me up inside. My life has completely changed since my diagnosis in so many ways. What this diagnosis did for me, it really opened my eyes and made me really appreciate being alive, appreciating every single day that I'm here. I did a lot of work on myself, personal growth work, and it made me really realize that what's important to me is to give back to other people and to help other women go through similar challenges, or, just create better lives for themselves overall. And it gave me a really deeper purpose to be alive. I think that, this specific diagnosis it's hard as a woman. I think, I had been trying to conceive, trying to have a baby, and as a woman, that's what we're built to do. So it can be really challenging, to tap into your femininity, to tap into, the reason why you're here. For me, it took a lot of work to rebuild that sense of self, because it's so close to being a woman, this type of cancer. It also, for me as a person, as an individual, really allowed me to heal myself, heal my body, heal my mind, work through a lot of things that I really needed to work through to be a better version of myself. I 100% prioritize my own healthcare. I definitely make sure to get checkups when I need to. In the past, before I was diagnosed, I would put it off. I think a lot of times you take your health for granted. And, after being diagnosed and going through this, I really prioritize making sure that I go to the right appointments and that I'm taking good care of myself. The advice I would give to someone who is recently diagnosed is, your body better than anyone else. And if you feel uncomfortable, or if you feel something in your gut that doesn't feel quite right, make sure that you advocate for yourself, because, oftentimes you are right. And keep pushing for answers and keep, looking and researching for things that feel right for you. It's important for women to speak up for each other and acknowledge that endometrial cancer is here and it exists. And it's important to understand the signs and symptoms so that you can spot it early. It's time to spot the signs. Spot her for EC.